Hi,
Hello,
I'm Cass,
and I'm Tanya.
and we're Dances,
Dances
with
with
Floss.
Floss.
And this is our second Flosstube. Thank you for coming back, and thank you if you're new. We appreciate you.
Yay. We have fancy microphones now because apparently our last video we were a little difficult to hear, so yay for technology. Hope it works.
So yes, thank you. Hope you can hear us better.
Please let us know if you can't.
I think we're a little better organized this time. We tried. Just a smidgen.
We'll see.
This is definitely a work in progress, folks. We're going to start with our FFOs and FOs. You have more of them than me, so do you...
How is that possible?
I think that's going to be a regular thing.
Oh, okay.
I think that's normal.
All right. Well, if you watched our first video, you saw this project in its finished but unfinished form. So now I have this, oh, Cass's Christmas tree is reflected in the background. So I have this fun bunny that I made for my sister. And this is pattern is by Freckledoll from Etsy. Hold on. Now I'm back in frame. I used the called for DMC on the pattern, and I stitched it on fiddler's cloth. And then I had a coupon for a frame thing at one of those big name craft stores. And so I bought a frame and put it in there yesterday, and it's gonna be ready to go to my sister for Christmas. So yay.
I have a friend who reached out to me and asked me if I could make something for her. She used to cross stitch and she doesn't anymore. I'm not sure why, but she asked if I could make this as a gift for her mother-in-law. So I did. I have, and I don't have to worry about glare because there's no glass in mine. This is, it says, it's no longer box wine. The classy term is card Bordeaux. So when she messaged me, when she messaged me, all that she knew that she wanted was just, she'd seen a meme that said that, and she said, do you know of any patterns that we could do that with? And I went on Etsy and did a quick search, and I found one called Mama's Juicebox by LCreative group. And it had the juice box, or the box wine and grapes. It just didn't have the phrase we wanted. It said Mama's Juicebox. And I just took that out, stitched with my own choices of floss, because, you know, I can't do anything normal. I used sulkies that I had in stash, and a couple of variegated DMCs for the actual wine. And I used Etoile because I like the DMC Etoile because I like the sparkle for the card Bordeaux. And a couple of variegated sulkies for this. But I used an app called Stitchly to chart the text out. But I used like I have a vintage chart with all kinds of different text fonts, and I used that to help me chart out on that app what I wanted it to say. And then the frame is here, I'll take it back. It's a flexi frame that this is, I'm not gonna take it off because that would mess the whole thing up. I have it glued down now, but it's like a rubber that goes on pretty easy. And then I just finished it off with felt in the back and added a little sticker that says it's handmade. So I'm going to be mailing that to her before Thanksgiving so that she'll have it in time to gift for Christmas.
What fabric is that?
Oh, thanks. I have it written down. It's a BeStitchMe fabric. Believe it's a 16 count garden party. It was left over from another project that I had. I just went through my stash for something that looked appropriate, and I just liked how it's got some kind of green in the cream. I love the modeling that's in her fabric, so I felt like it was appropriate. Kind of has a vineyard feel.
Okay, this one I was almost done with last week. This is now a fully finished. I haven't fully finished it, but this is Pretty Little Amsterdam by Satsuma Street. This is a project that was adopted from someone in our local stitch group, the Eastern Iowa Stitchers. And it used the called for DMC. This is just regular 14 count white Aida. But it's all done now, and I washed it and I ironed it, and it's not wrinkly. So I'm very proud. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I might make it into a pillow or something, or maybe I'll put Pretty Little Amsterdam at the bottom. I don't know. But right now it's done, and I'll figure out what I'm going to do with it eventually.
Thank you. Sometimes I think these have really cool titles, and I do occasionally think, boy, I'd really like to like backstitch the title of the pattern underneath it, because it was a title that just made me giggle or something, and I was part of the reason why I picked it.
Did you have another one?
I do. I have, well, it's a finish for now because it's my monthly Stitch for Pride.
FFN? Finish for now?
I guess.
We'll just make up acronyms.
And again, it's in my Care Bear bag with the wonderful Fluffy from Jasmine's Custom Bags, which, you know, probably 80% of my bags are from Jasmine's Custom Bags at this point. But it's looking pretty good. I got the new one is the November. Get that nice and close so you can see it. I stitched that with 2 colors of Sulky. I'm trying to do this whole thing in Sulky floss. It was my experiment. I had never used Sulky floss before I did this, and I just wanted to see if I would like it. I liked the idea of stitching with a single strand and still getting a nice full effect. So I went for it, and I kind of dig it. There's one more block that'll go in. We'll get that on December 1st. I'm really looking forward to getting that stitched on there. This is a pattern by D's 20 Stitches. I understand he's already doing testing for the 2025 Stitch for Pride. And that's one, if you want to do it, get on it, because he only releases it for a limited time, and then he closes it down and you don't get back on it. It's not like some where he then like releases the whole thing. Like, no, get it when it's open, because it closes. And I was really lucky that it opened again in June, because that isn't something that he normally does. So as soon as I saw that, I just jumped on and got it and caught up as fast as I could. So I'm looking forward to getting the December one so that I can get it actually fully finished and framed and all of that. Because like I said, I don't sit on them. I get it done. Like honestly, that last one, I finished stitching that yesterday and framed it this morning. So I don't wait.
I have a tendency to finish things and sit on them. But yeah, that's my drama. I have one last finish, and there goes my pile of stuff. Sorry. This is what happens when you're just trying to figure out life and Flosstube. So this is my last fully finished. It is Super Mario. This is the small version. I got this pattern. It's from MMMgame at Etsy, the Etsy store. I used the call for DMC on a 14 count light blue Ada. And then this fun fabric in the background I got from Spoonflower. This is for my boyfriend who plays video games like that's, well, he doesn't. It's not just him. We both play video games and we both love Super Mario. And so when I saw this pattern, there's another one that you can get when you order this, and it's a big one. It's like twice as big, but this is perfect for what limited wall space we have in our apartment. So this was finished by one of the ladies in our stitchers group, because I don't know how to finish things, and I was like, I want it to look really super nice. And so I took it to her, and she mounted it and did the paper back and everything, and I think it looks really cool. But now I just have to find a frame because it's not a standard like 11 by 14 size. So I have to figure out a way how I'm gonna like finish it. I had a blue frame, but it doesn't fit. It's too short for the frame. So if anybody has any suggestions on how to finish, please let me know, because it's a Christmas present and I need to get it done before then.
Which I do know how to finish. I haven't done flat folds. That's something I want to learn to do, but I think it'll be easy for me to learn because I know how to like pin them in a frame. I used to work like my very first full-time job out of high school, while I was still putting myself through like my secondary schooling because I went to vocational school, was at Michael's in their framing department. So I know how to pin. I've never laced before, but I think that I could do that. But I know how to pin a cross stitch and pin it relatively straight. So
we're learning. It's a learning process. Yeah, that's all I have for finishes.
Okay, so we're ready to do our whips, and I have more whips than Tanya. I think probably the running theme with us is going to be that she's going to always have more finishes, and I'm going to have more whips.
I'm fast. What can I
say? So the first one is actually something to go with the finish that the FFO. I have that same friend. She doesn't know I did this, but I bought a Mill Hill kit to go with it, and I'm going to surprise her with that. I am, despite my best effort, only halfway through it. I started working on it last night though, so I really dislike beading. So why I decided to do this, I couldn't tell you. Just thought I'd be extra and send a nice small, and that it would be a nice thing to do. Yeah, Mill Hill ornaments. I don't know what's wrong with me. So I just have left, I'm most of the way through the glass, and then I need to do the leaves and around the orange part on either side. So I'm about halfway through the beading. So probably I'll finish it for sure this weekend because I want to get it in the mail with the, I want to send this together with the finish. And I'm going to need this needle minder soon. This needle minder is going to have to come back off of it. This needle minder, cutest thing ever. It's from, so KitschyDelish sells these on Etsy, but it's not a needle minder. It was a pin that I bought, and I loved the pin so much that I broke the pin off the back of it and turned it into a needle minder. And she's got all kinds of really fun food related pins, but I particularly wanted the deviled egg because I want it for my Thanksgiving project. Because what's more Thanksgiving than a deviled egg? I don't know.
Canned cranberry sauce?
Well, that's true, but she doesn't have a canned cranberry sauce one.
Oh, okay.
Because if she did, I probably would have bought it.
There you go. If you're watching, get a canned cranberry pin.
So there's that. And then, because I'm going to do 2 before she does hers, I have my Nora November that I've been working on.
Ooh.
So I switched from the Halloween fairy. I haven't done anything new on the Halloween fairy since you saw it. And instead, I have been working on this. This is Aries by Nora Corbett. Here's the pattern so you can see how far I am. Got a lot done on her. This was my birthday start this year, back in March. My birthday is in March, at the end of March. I am a March Aries, so I decided, and I like astrology and follow astrology, so I decided to stitch that for myself. I do think I'm going to do the whole series. I do have the bead pack. I am stitching this on, I am using the called for on this. It's a rare thing, I know. The only thing that I'm doing that is not called for is the fabric. I am using Undine. It is one of the rare linen projects that I have that reminded me why I don't like linen. It is a 32 count opalescent Lugana. And yeah, it's called Undine.
By BeStitchMe.
By BeStitchMe. But I want to bring up, so I had been watching, I love Cross Stitch the Globe, is one of my favorite Flosstubes to watch. And I usually watch it the same day it comes out because I enjoy it so much. And I have been following along as Allison has been working on, which is the same name as my sister, by the way. I have been watching her do Lady of the Flag, which is beautiful and very impressive. And I would love to find that pattern because I'm a very patriotic person in general. But will not pay $200 for that pattern ever. So I need to find it thrifting or something. But I have to say that I really appreciated that in their last Flosstube whip parade, or not whip parade, but they were just showing their progress on things, right? In their last Flosstube, she talked about how she likes beading. She is someone who likes beading, but she did not like the beading for that project. Oh, here, I can take that. She did not like the beading in that project. And so she is actually cutting out all of her beads. She had the bead pack for the flag, for Lady of the Flag. She bought the bead pack and she is cutting them out and just converting those spots to DMC. And I'm excited to see that because I don't like beading. I will do it. I am going to do it for Aries because I invested in the bead pack and it's special because it's my birth sign. But when I do the rest of the series and on my other Mirabilias, because I have several and I like doing Mirabilias, I fully intend to convert them and not do beading. I think those patterns are so beautiful on their own that they don't need it. Like, fine, I'll use the Krennic, I'll use all the other fancy floss, but I don't think that it needs beads. And I think that beading them limits the size because I also, on some of those Mirabilias are huge. And I don't, as much as I stitch, I don't have that much wall space. I don't want this giant thing on my wall. I would much rather stitch it on a smaller count, like a 20 count, and I can't do that if I intend to bead it. So I really appreciate, and being an Ada stitcher versus a linen stitcher, I really appreciate seeing someone do a conversion like that on Flosstube and like the Mirabilia without the beads. I'm excited to see her do that. So if you haven't seen her Lady of the Flag, I highly recommend going back to their latest Flosstube and check that out, and some of their other episodes where she shows that, because I think they recently did an episode where they just did a parade of their Nora Corbetts and Mirabilias, and they're really lovely. And she talked about, then she showed off Lady of the Flag all stitched except for the beads, and she had gone in really excited to do the beads, but then didn't like them once she started putting them on. So I just wanted to say I am totally on your side, Allison. I don't think those patterns need it, and I'm excited to see what you do.
My turn. So I am working on this awesome BarbaraAna designs. It's Cosmic Dreams 2 Big Sister, and I got this at BeStitchMe, our local-ish store. And of course, I've mentioned it like a million times before, I'm a gamer, and so what caught my eye at first when I saw the pattern in the store was like the Galaga / Space Invaders / like the gaming characters in her hair.
I had no idea those were Galaga.
Well, yeah, the little like Galaxian Galaga like type of thing. So this is how far I've gotten. That is her hair. Basically part of it. And so I am using the called for DMC because I'm a called for DMC kind of girl. There's a few things.
She doesn't sub things out like I do.
There's a few things I'll sub out every once in a while, but I'm stitching this on 16 count evergreen Ada, purchase at BeStitchMe, and I love it. I think it's gonna look really, really cool. The colors, like the model was stitched on like a navy, but I just really liked this green fabric. And then little shout out on my needle minder, it is Stitch and Flick. That is by Snarky Crafter Designs on Etsy, and I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and so I saw that, and of course I had to buy that. It's one of my favorites. I use it all the time. And then we have my BAP. So progress on my big ass project. So that is where we're at right now on my dragons. So that is, it's called Sampler number 63 by 2x2 Stitch Art. I got on Etsy. I am stitching that with Pirate Robin Joker floss. It's so pretty, and it's gonna take so many skeins because it's huge. Oh yeah, 16 count Oracle Ada by Picture This Plus that I got from 123 Stitch. And then this is the finished like project. So you can see there are dragons, but I only have like this corner. There's so much more that needs to be done, so it's gonna take me a while. Yeah, that's my Sunday stitch. I usually stitch this on Sundays when I'm watching football. That's all I got.
Okay.
You got a couple more.
I have 2 more. So these are my current in progress artsy housewives. I have more artsy housewives that are in progress, but these are the 2 that I worked on in the last 2 weeks because it's only been 2 weeks since we filmed. So yeah, I've worked on this many projects in that time. So Blue Moon. So this is the one that I'm working on. And it is in one of my Jasmine's custom bags. I love her bags. This is one of her minis. I have an increasing number of minis. I started out really just buying the big ones, but now I love the minis. And that is my progress. I have discovered, other than the orange ones, I am stitching the outline of the flowers. And then when I'm in the mood to mindlessly fill, I'll go back and fill the black in. Because I don't like to just fill very often. And I want to see more progress. The fill on those takes so long. I did find, since I'm using variegated, I'm using hand dyed for the oranges. They have a very subtle variegation that I couldn't just outline it and fill later. So when I'm doing the orange, I'm just doing the whole flower. I am using a combination of Roxy Flossco floss and DMC, although I'm mostly using Roxy Flossco. Basically, anywhere where I thought you could tell that it was a hand dyed, I'm using Roxy, and anywhere that I figured you're not even going to notice, I'm using DMC. So the solid black, although tricky thing, I'm using 2 different blacks. The flowers themselves are just a flat black DMC. Okay. 310. And then, but the tree is not. It is charted to be 310, but what I'm actually using is, I think it's in their grays. When I looked it up on the website to buy it, it's in the grays. Hopefully you can, I don't know if you'll really be able to see it. It is kind of a variegated, very subtle. It's called Camping Trip. When you go on their website, on the Evertote website, and you filter by type of color, don't go on the blacks because it's not there. I had to go on the grays. So I think it's supposed to be more of like a dark charcoal gray, and it has a little bit of kind of I would say it looks like a teal undertone to it. I don't know, like when a flame is so hot it's almost blue. It's very like ashy looking, and I really like that. Because I wanted a little contrast with the tree. There's a lot of black in this pattern, and I love the pattern. I don't love stitching that much black. So I needed some change. So it's hard to tell here. Like in person, you can see the difference, that the leaves really do look, or the flowers really do look darker than the branches. But I only intend to use this color for the tree branches and the tree trunk itself. The rest of the areas that are supposed to be black, I will do with actual 310. Otherwise, like basically all the rest of the colors, I am using Roxy Floss. So I'm kind of addicted. And then it's being stitched on 18 count malachite from Fiber on a Whim. So I wanted a darker green, but this is, I'm happy. I'm satisfied with this one. I wanted something as dark as what yours was.
The evergreen.
Yeah, and I think the one that I actually really wanted was a Roxy, Flossco one, and it was Pub Crawl, but Pub Crawl in the 20 count was sold out. And of course, once I actually started this, I saw that it is now available.
It's been restocked.
but I'm not starting over.
No, I like that. I like that
Yeah.
color. I think that's really pretty.
I'm over 15% in progress. So this one has been like, I've been a little more obsessive and able to stitch for multiple days in a row and had to tell myself, no, put it down. You have to do something else now because you have this deadline for this other one. So otherwise, I think I probably would be a lot further because I did not want to stop. Just kind of a weird, rare thing for me. That's a good sign of a good project if I do not want to stop. That shows my lack of frustration. Really just driven. I want to get to the bottom of that tree. The bird is probably going to slow me down a lot. But the tree has my interest. And then the other artsy housewife that I am very obsessively working on, doesn't have a picture. Oops. Okay, Weeds and Wildflowers. I don't have a picture to show you. I'm sorry. Oh, does it? Oh. Ha ha. Whoa, looky there. Tanya just taught me a trick.
I love markup. The preview.
It's in preview mode. So that's Weeds and Wildflowers. That's what I'm working on. And I am mostly using Roxy Flosco, which I kind of suspect for me that when I stitch an artsy housewife, that's probably going to be a running theme. I do like to use DMC, but I really like Roxy Flosco, and I like how convenient it is that they have a lot of conversions for her patterns. I am using, I think last time I said that fabric was Sail Away. It's not. It's called Smooth Sailing. It is a 20 count. I just really liked the navy blue. I have been using mostly the called for colors in the Roxy, which that one was Carolyn's birthday sal. So it was charted, intended to be stitched with Roxy Flosco.
Floxy?
I know, I'm terrible. So I have only had to change one color because of the fabric. I really am trying to stick with called for. But because of the dark blue fabric, I had to change the outline of the wing that I have in a lighter blue. That is charted to be a dark blue. That is the one color I have had to change. All the rest of them I have had to stay, I have been able to stay with the color that it suggests. So that's actually a DMC because I pulled from my master set because I was trying to figure out what coordinated with the tones and and provided enough contrast with the gray that's going to be in there. So I had out my floss to make comparisons and figured out what would work. I did use a different color for the moon because I was using a DMC for what would have been stitched that color, and I wanted something with more variegation. So I used, I don't know what color this is. It's a sulky, but you can see with the sulky, it's got it's a variegated. So that's what I actually used for the moon. But otherwise, it's been a mix of DMC and the called for.
What count is this?
It's 20.
It's very tiny. My eyeballs can't take.
I like it. I do find if I'm switching back and forth from a 14 or a 16 to then using 20, that's hard. But if I consistently use 18 and 20, that's really easy. I can do that and most of the time I don't need my magnification. I can just do it.
I have old eyeballs.
My issue is, like, you would think that would translate well for doing linen for me. It doesn't. It does not at all. And I don't know why. I have to use my magnification when I stitch on linen. So even though I'm doing the Aries on a 32 count, which would be the equivalent of 16, which should be fine because I'm used to stitching smaller than that. It's not okay.
It's probably just the difference between Ada and even weave fabrics.
Yeah, I can't see it. I have to, and I can only stand using that magnifier for so long before it starts to bother me. So Aries doesn't get as much time as I would like to give her. And I'm pretty sure when I do the rest of the Zodiac series, I'm probably going to stitch those on Ada and not do any beading, because that was just this is not pleasant for me at all. I did want to mention, I made myself a note, that while I was talking about the artsy housewife patterns, that they have some, I was just watching their Flosstube. They release sporadically every 1 or 2 months, and they just celebrated their wedding anniversary, and they were talking about releases they have coming. And I'm on their Patreon her Patreon, because that's how much I like her patterns. And I'm looking forward to, they're going to have a January birthday sampler for her birthday. And she also made a birthday sampler for his birthday in February. They'll be released on the 15th, but you have to be in their Patreon to get them. So January 15th and February 15th, I'm really looking forward to those.
Nice. That's all we have for whips.
That's our whips. Don't worry, there's more stuff, but that's just whips. Okay, so this is haul. And apparently I am the only one with haul. I don't know how that happened, but it did.
I've only been buying patterns lately. I haven't been buying things, and there's too many patterns to show. So I'll just let you do haul this time.
Well, and mostly I buy digital patterns. So I did buy patterns. Trust me, I did. But they're digital, so I'm not going to show them. And you'll just see them when I start working on them. But I needed needle minders. I didn't have any Christmas needle minders. And I actually went to, these are from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. Actually went just to buy the mincemeat pie one, because I'm a weird person that loves mincemeat pie. I don't know anybody else who eats it, but it's my favorite Christmas dessert. And I have to make it for myself because I am the only one that eats it.
I like the cocoa one. That's really cute.
I was only going to buy that one, but on their website, if you buy 3, you get a discount. So I couldn't have it travel from the UK all by itself. That made no sense. So I bought 3. So I got the mincemeat pie, the little bird, because I stitch a lot of birds. I like birds. And then I'm a freak for the beak. And if you watch Hathaway Stitchers, you'll know what I'm talking about. And then hot cocoa, because that's very wintry.
Who doesn't love hot cocoa?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so that's not technically cross stitch, but it is, because for me. So I have that wonderful Care Bear bag, and I decided I wanted a needle minder to match it. And I was at Five Below and saw that Care Bear pin. I love Cheer Bear. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen my Care Bear collection of things. I don't have a collection. I just have some random Care Bear stuff. I have a lot of nostalgia stuff because I like my 80s nostalgia, and Care Bears was the thing for me. So I'm going to turn that into a needle minder, which is why it goes in haul. Because I'm not afraid to, as evidenced by the deviled egg pin, I'm not afraid to make a needle minder, and Tanya helps me because
she is afraid of her Dremel tool.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then I got some physical patterns that I don't do often. I had driven out to, so we do have a LNS, it's kind of an LNS that's closer to us than BeStitchMe. Heritage Designs in the Amana Colonies, Amana, Iowa. I think it's Middle Amana, Iowa. Is about 20 minutes outside of Cedar Rapids, ish. And I went up there to buy some sulky floss because they sell the individual spools of it, and I didn't want to have to like order them online. So I called ahead, confirmed they had the 2 colors that I ran out of, and they did, and I had them put those on hold, and I drove down there, and of course, once I was in there, you couldn't just buy floss.
It's like going to Target. You go in for one thing and you come out with like a whole cart full of stuff.
Right. And I drove 20 minutes, so it would be a waste of gas to only buy $4 worth of floss. So I bought some Satsuma Street. They have a whole lot of Satsuma Street. They have a lot of other stuff, a lot of other patterns too. It's actually primarily a quilt shop, but they have a corner of the store that they have cross stitch and embroidery, and they carry Satsuma Street. So I needed those, and I like Santa Clauses. So I bought Candy Claus, and I'm excited to make him into an ornament. I actually want all of the 12 Days of Christmas birds, bird ornament kits, but they don't have those. They did say that they'll get them, and if that's something I'm interested in, they would get them in. So I'll probably do that.
This is cool though, because it comes with everything. It's not just a pattern. But look, beads.
Yeah, I don't like beads, but we'll get over it. We'll get through it because I want those ornaments. I am somebody who likes kitschy 1950s style Christmas. So Satsuma Street really appeals to me and my very mid-century modern sensibility. So I also bought Winter Welcome, because I had never seen that pattern before, and I just thought it was really neat, and I want to stitch it and put it on or make it a bell pull for my front door, because it's good for Christmas, but I'll be able to leave it out for all of winter, I think. So
it's very pretty.
Yeah. So I had fun going to Heritage Designs and getting that. But I'm sure once my aunt sees it, my Nanny Becky is gonna love that. And if she doesn't just want to stitch it herself, then she might try and
get you to stitch it.
Yeah, or take mine, you know.
You come home one day and it's gone from your door.
We've got
a suspect list.
I've made stuff before, and she's just like, "Oh, I'm keeping that. Thank you." I'm like, "No, I did not do that for you." I lived with them for about a year, and every time I would bring home art or something, she's like, "Oh, thank you for that." I'm like, no, that's mine for when I move out and get my own place. So there's that. So that is most of my haul. The next piece of haul gets into plans. So I'm going to pause and we'll switch to plans.
Plans. I have lots of plans. I have more plans than I actually brought with me to show today. Because yeah, this video would be 3 hours long if we just went with all of what I have planned to do. So I have this, and apparently I'm running a theme right now. I'm like all ink circles patterns right now. So I have the Tea Time ink circles pattern that I bought at BeStitchMe. And I am going to be using probably the called for floss because, yeah, I'm not that adventurous yet. But I'm going to be stitching it on the 16 count Twinkle Ada by BeStitchMe. It's a really pretty purple, and the back and like the pattern, the model is stitched on a purple, and I really like how that looks. So that is going to be a project for something. Friend of mine, her church group does a thing called Tea with Thee, and it's just a get together, and then they have all the tables have themes, And so it's really cool. We did it this year, and it was like a friends themed table. And so all our little, there's a big central perk light and stuff in the center of the table, and we all had little like mugs that had sayings from friends on it. But then they do like a giveaway, and so I'm gonna stitch that because her theme this year, I think she's gonna do something cross stitch related because she's also a stitcher. So that is my first plan. Then I have, my boyfriend is a musician. So first of all, I have a boyfriend. Like all of my sentences just ran together there. So he is a musician, and I saw these ink circles patterns. This is all together now, Alto, because it's the clefs from music. So there's the bass, and it's called first bass. And then we have the actual treble clef is titled Here Comes Trouble.
Yeah, please stitch the titles on those because that's so funny.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing that. But I am going to be stitching it on this 14 count. It's a vintage linen Zweigart fabric. It's in the little container thing, so you can't really see it. But vintage linen color, and that's my once I get my BarbaraAna done, because that's for me. I've been stitching a lot of stuff for other people, but the BarbaraAna is for me. So once I get that done, then I'll cycle back to stitching things for other people. So those are my plans.
My plans, multi-fold here. I mean, I got a lot of Christmas stitching, but big plan, I want to do Flossmas. So you will see some videos of just me trying to talk her into doing some of just her.
I don't know how to do these things.
So I really liked the idea of doing an advent, and I did miss the boat on most of them, but I was watching the Evertote Between Two Whips, and I adore them, and I watch every Flosstube. Oh my God, Flosstube that they release. So
words are hard.
I can't talk today. It's fine.
Words are hard.
It's fine. And I saw that they did a Nordic holiday countdown with modern folk embroidery. I'm not ready to stitch a modern folk embroidery, so I didn't get it. But after they sent all of them out, they had some floss packs left over. So they did a release of an advent of just the floss. And they're all Roxy flosses that are not in the current collection. They were made special for this. So I ordered it. And I have it. All 25.
Please don't dump the box.
No, I'm not going to dump the box. They're numbered. They're sealed, closed, and numbered. Open December 1st. Ha ha ha. So I don't think I'm going to post individual for every day. I don't want to do that. I got a job, and I have 2 jobs and 2 kids and doing it by myself. So I don't want to do all that. But I do want to post more regularly. So I want to do Flossmas, and I will do, I'm leaning towards every 5 days that I will film like each day, but I will put them together and release one video of every 5 days of me opening the 5 flosses, and maybe show you like what Christmas pattern I think I'll use them on, or that kind of thing. That's probably what's going to happen. I have my Christmas patterns that I plan to start. I have a good stack of them, and I'm not going to show you all of them, but I'll show you a couple of them. One of the things I got, this is another Hathaway Stitchers shout out. I bought this book a while ago now, A couple months ago, Amity on Hathaway Stitchers was showing that she got this book and she was stitching Christmas symbols out of it. And I can show you what that's supposed to look like. So this book is Counted Cross-Stitch Designs for Christmas, Danish Handcraft Guild. And it's very vintage, like 1970s, 1980s patterns. So this one, right? She's stitching that. And I saw that and my head immediately started spinning and went, oh my God, I know exactly what I'm going to do with that. I need that pattern and that book. And I wrote down all the information she said. And I went to eBay and hunted. And by the end of the night, I had found, ordered, and it was on its way, this book, which I love this book. And I'm going to stitch a lot of things out of it. Like this tree especially is freaking cool. And I'm excited to do it and going to do it. So I'm hoping to use some of those Christmas flosses. But the idea that I had, what I saw when I looked at the Christmas symbols is the rows, right? Instead of doing that as one big sampler, I'm going to stitch just each row. And I want to learn how to finish them as drums. Because if you look behind you, up on top of my floss cabinet, I have some hand-painted Christmas villages. I hand-painted all these. Every year, I try and find one. They're California creations, little ceramic wreath in a tree. And I hand-paint these. I really only do it in December. I have a lot of hand-painted ceramics, something my mom used to do when I was a kid. And as an adult, when I found those, I started painting them. Most of these I painted years and years and years ago because I can't really find them anymore. I don't know that California Creations still makes them that size. I mean, I have found unfinished ceramics, right? Like I've painted some that are not California Creations. Problem is they're much larger. So they don't fit with my current Christmas village. And California creations that have not been painted, if you look them up on eBay, are quite expensive. So we'll see if I ever break down and buy some of those. I really want the hamburger diner because I love 1950s kitschiness, and the bowling alley. Really, really want those. But again, when I looked them up, they're quite expensive. And I don't want one that's already painted because I want to paint it myself. So I thought that those drums with the people, if I stitch those on like a 20 count or a 22 count Ada, would be nice and small. And I can put them around my village so that my village will have people, cross-stitched people.
Cross-stitched people in a ceramic village.
It's going to be awesome. So that is my big project that I want to do. I have some other Christmas patterns, but that I want to stitch. Like I've got this one from Tiny Modernist that I got that I'd like to start.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, I like Tiny Modernist. And I have Winter Traditions sampler. Although I want to change the text that's in the middle. I want to use a Christmas Carol there. I think maybe it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, possibly. So I will probably rechart the wording to be one of my favorite lines from that song, because I really want to do that pattern too. So that's, and I have the fabric for that one already. I bought an opal. I bought an 1/8 yard of a little Sassy. Which I love the name of that fabric. Thank you for punny fabric names. Keep doing it. It's wonderful. I need all the punny fabric names. It's pretty. I think it would make a nice Christmas nighttime scene. So I'm going to stitch it on that. I like opal fabrics for Christmas. So I have a lot of, I mostly don't stitch on opal, but I will do it for Christmas patterns. But yeah, this is an 18 count, and I will do it on that. So that's my other, those are my plans. I think that was that all I wanted to say? For now. There's another thing I want to talk about, but you talk about yours.
Okay, so speaking of advents, which we did like a million years ago, I got the 2024 advent calendar, and I'm going to completely destroy this name, so please forgive me. It's Iota, YIOTA apostrophe S X Stitch. It is her website, Iota, YIOTA S xstitch.com, and it's the 2024. Sorry, I had to do the old lady like I'm reading over the top of my glasses thing, so I look really strange. So the advent calendar, obviously you can't get it anymore because it's Christmas time, but it comes in this really great box. It's got so much stuff in here. I'm gonna take glasses off. So there's going to be threads, there is fabric, there are little patterns. It comes with this little sheet that talks about not everything that's in it, but the instructions, all how to do cross stitch stuff. And then it comes this box, really nice box.
I'm really impressed with that box, I have to say.
I'm just impressed with the level of commitment to however many, sorry, the paper's rustling, however many boxes, like things that people purchased. Each one comes in a little numbered box. And so somebody had to package all of these, fold all the boxes, print all the stickers, put all the stickers on. And there are 25. Like there's 2 layers of little tiny boxes. And so this is the first advent calendar that I have ever done for cross stitch. I've done some in the past for like just random other geeky things, but so I'm pretty excited about what's going to be in these. So I might have to have Cass help me because I don't know how to video myself and do the editing and things. So I might like come over and she'll have to film me and I'll open up some boxes. And we can post those videos too. But I heard so many good things about this advent from people on Facebook and Instagram and stuff. And so my interest was piqued. And so I thought I'd give it a try. So I'm really excited. I might even have to save these little boxes and do a little advent calendar for my home next year because the boxes and the stickers are just too cute to throw away. So
well, and even the plastic box is it's a plastic box.
Yeah.
It's so freaking nice. I mean, it's a good size to like hold patterns or whatever. You're going to get use out of that with a nice lid. And
yeah, it's totally worth the shipping from Scotland.
Oh my God, that came from Scotland?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
They're in Scotland.
I felt fancy getting something from Canada, and here you're getting an advent from
Scotland. If it's not Scottish, it's crap. Sorry, that's a throwback to Mike Myers on Saturday Night Live. If it's not Scottish, it's crap.
Oh my God, I love you so much. Oh my God.
And that's all I have.
Oh God. Okay. So the only other post myself after that. Oh, I have awesome friends. Okay. So
I gotta be me.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to do this with you.
Yeah.
So the other awesome plan, and this is a more future oriented plan, and I'm bringing this up now in case anybody wants to do this with us. So our other friend, on Flosstube, she's going by Babs. I know her as Barb and as Barbie because I went to high school with her. And in high school, I called her Barbie because everyone did. I met her in choir when we were 16. And she was the new girl. And I was like, she doesn't know I'm weird yet. So, like, she needs to be my friend before she finds out. So, before she finds out I'm not popular. So, I made friends with her in choir when we were 16. And we have known each other ever since. And we actually work together. Work at the same company in the same department and everything. But we very frequently talk about our stitching. And she has her own floss tube because, you know, she was too cool to do it with us. No, I'm kidding. She's fine. Cottage Rogue. So if you haven't checked her out, she's doing awesome. She's already posted twice. And I think she plans to try and post weekly. I don't know. We'll see. But she's pretty awesome. But her and I are going to do some stitch alongs. And one of the ones that we have discussed starting, her and I have been planning long before we planned to do Flosstube. We have been talking about doing our first long dog sampler together. Those are massive, as if I need another BAP, but I do. Because I just do. And initially we were going to start it in the fall, but then we pushed that back. We both got our fabric recently, and we pushed back to January, and we were going to start it on January 1st. But now, because of what it is, I think we're going to start it on January. Well, she can start on the 1st if she wants, but I'm starting it on January 20th because we are going to stitch Ragnarok. If you know anything about Ragnarok, the Norse myth, because again, I'm a nerd, it is the Norse myth about the end of the world. So we're going to stitch Ragnarok, and I am going to start it on Inauguration Day.
Because reasons.
And we have discussed calling that stitch along or start along, however you want to call it, end of the world Sal. So I know Instagram is taking away the searchability of hashtags.
What? I just learned hashtags.
I know. Well, I don't know if it's taking away the searchability so much as it's taking away the ability to follow a hashtag. So I think you can still use them and search by them. I'm not sure though. I'm still going to use them until they, I mean, I don't know.
I just learned.
I'm still going to use them.
I'm so behind.
I don't know why they're taking stuff away.
Anyway.
Like, I don't know. Anyway. I don't get it. I mean, it works for people. Leave it alone. Just leave our hashtags alone.
Hashtag. Keep hashtags.
Instagram, if you're listening, stop screwing with our hashtags.
They're not listening.
Leave it alone.
Anyway.
Okay. Anyway, but it's going to be hashtag end of the world, Sal. Because
reasons.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
Also a great song by REM.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
We won't sing it because nobody knows all the words.
No.
Anyway.
I mean, I'm a choir girl, but I'm still not going to sing it. But yeah, so we have some other stitch alongs planned, but I wanted to bring it up now because long dogs take a while to plan for because you need a big piece of fabric and a lot of floss. And if you're going to do multicolored or do it as a single color, I mean, I know that they're charted as monochromatic, but let's be honest, when we see other wonderful versions of those, they're very often not monochromatic.
Because what? Some people don't stick with the called for?
Yep.
That's just me. Called for.
Well, I don't even think she suggests, the designer, I don't even think she suggests a color, does she? Like, I think that they're just whatever color you want, but they're charted as a monochromatic. So I am going to do mine with Sulky, and because now that I know I like that, I did buy a 20 count fabric from BeStitchMe. I bought a half yard of Badlands because it's neutral but not really. And I'm going to use, I think, some tonal. I'm going to do more than one color, but I'm tones of, right? So I think I'm going to stick with green is my favorite color. So there's going to be a lot of greens and blues. And then there's some red herrings in that pattern that are things that don't belong. And I'm going to try and stitch those in different shades of red so that they stand out for me as kind of a, hey, this is funny. And then I found, it's not Sulky brand, it's a different brand, but it's a 12 weight floss. Comes in a spool, just like, I think it's Aurifil or something like that. There's a 12 weight wool floss that's gray, like a tonal gray. And I think for Fenrir or Fenris, I'm not sure. I had to look how you use Fenrir.
Fenrir.
Okay. Fenrir the wolf that kicks off Ragnarok. I feel like he should be a gray wolf. So I want him to stand out because he is super important to that myth. So I want him to stand out on the pattern. So if he, I mean, it may turn into he's the only thing that's different and everything else is in shades of green. I don't know. I'm leaning towards green and blue with a little bit of red and definitely gray for Fenrir. So if you want to join us and stitch that pattern too, under that hashtag, that would be awesome. I'd love to see what everybody else does with Ragnarok. I have only seen one other Flosstuber stitching Ragnarok, and that's Jessie Marie Does Stuff. She's stitching Ragnarok, and I was really excited to see that because I'm seeing a lot of pointed fifth, and I mean, I'm seeing a lot of long dogs and a lot of the same long dogs. I have not seen other than her stitching Ragnarok, and I think it's the coolest one. It's the coolest one. It's the nerdiest one, and I need that. So that's what we're doing. Hope you want to join us with that.
And I think that's all we have for you today. So thank you all for watching. And I think there's gonna be, you're gonna put some links and things in the description. So if you like what you've seen or you want to see some more of the patterns that we have done, we'll have links to things.
Or at least have it listed.
Yeah.
If I don't have links, I may at least just have a list of here's the patterns we talked about.
Yep. So keep us on your like, comment, subscribe, roster, and we'll see you guys next time
in a few weeks. Sooner for me because I'm going to do Flossmas.
Yes. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.
Have a great Thanksgiving.